Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Balloon Head Productions. I am your fearless leader, your host, your Chadich or whatever. My name is Marcelo Nostroza, and today I'm here to talk about my overall thoughts of Picard season three, vis-a-vis for most of you who have been watching Picard for the season, the TNG reunion of the original cast from the 80s. So, going into this season, I was very, very excited because of two things primarily. One, because of my beloved TNG cast all coming back for one more hurrah, for one more get together, for one more mission to save the planet. And two, because in this season of Picard, we were going to have a brand new showrunner by the name of Terry Matalas. And I wanted to see what he was going to do with the. I wanted to see what he was going to do with the final season of Picard. And the main reason why I was so excited for him to come along. Well, guys, it's no secret that I wasn't really happy with what Picard season two had had brought us so far. As a matter of fact, if you are aware, I do many streams on YouTube, or I'm a guest on many different uh, YouTube channels dedicated to Star Trek, and on there, my disdain for Picard seasons one and two have been well documented, and I will just say that I really feel that this season gave Picard the the respect and the admiration in a specific way that I thought that season one and two of Picard did not. I really enjoyed for most of this final season that it was a giant bottle episode of TNG. So basically, it was just Picard, Riker, uh, um, um, uh, Picard, Riker, Beverly, Raffi, Worf on a ship for the most part, except when Worf and Raffi, did those pointless missions to Metalis Prime to get some information that they could have that Terry Metalis could have found a better way to um, tell the audience it. With all due respect, I've never been a fan of Raffi, and this season did not make me a fan of Raffi. I really felt that she should have been replaced with, or not replaced. I really felt that her swan song should have been in season two with a large part of the original cast members of Picard. And this season, I thought it would have been really cool to bring on Wesley Crusher as a traveler. I think that Terry Matalas could have done some really, really cool things with him. And the funny thing is that Will Wheaton out has been very outspoken that that he that he, if he that if you know Will Wheaton has been very outspoken that if he ever gets a call from Star Trek to do anything, he would be willing to come back. So I don't know why Terry Matalas didn't choose to bring back Wesley. That would have made this reunion really, really full circle for me and kind of perfect. Not to say that I've always loved Wesley, but because I haven't, but I've grown to appreciate him as I've gotten older. Anyway, I really, really like that in this season, the primary focus was on family, friendship, and and and, and Picard finally getting that one thing that was sort of elusive to him throughout all of TNG and the movies. As a matter of fact, there's a line in Star Trek Generations after Renee and Robert are killed. Spoilers, where Picard says that after him there will be no more Picards, right? So I found it really, really touching and really, really fitting that after all these years, Picard is able to open up this way emotionally and is able to have somewhat of a happy ending. Now, what I mean by somewhat is that a lot of people online who are Picard and Beverly stands, primarily Beverly Crusher stands, a lot of those people, a lot of those individuals had problems with the way that Beverly was handled and the whole reasoning why she did what she did. And ultimately, despite weeks of fan speculation that it was going to be something deeper than protecting her son, that that there was a bigger secret behind why why the evil villain for most of the season was chasing them. It just came down to basically, oh, Beverly went away for fucking 20 years because she wanted to protect her son. So I guess that's the one point of this season that I really wasn't satisfied with. The way that um Beverly and Picard really didn't have uh, a really impactful, meaningful conversation as to their relationship status and the way they feel about each other. That really pissed me off, and that really made me upset. I had I, I was on a stream with some friends a couple weeks ago, and one of the panelists was really upset because in her mind Beverly hadn't gotten the respect that she has been owed for the past 35 years. She has thought that Beverly has been pushed aside. Beverly was put in a box for most of the TNG movies, which I can't really refute because Beverly was there for the TNG movies, but she really didn't do much. She didn't do much of anything. So I really appreciated that this story started with Beverly and Beverly sort of kicked it off. But again, I really didn't like that after 35 years they didn't really give the Beverly and Picard fans any closure. I mean, we know that these two people obviously care about each other. They had a son together, but they've never had this moment where they've admitted their feelings for each other in live action. They may have done it in the uh, uh, in the Star Trek lit first, but they've never done it in Star Trek television proper or movie proper, and that really disappointed me. And I thought that was a really missed opportunity for Terry Matalas and his writers to 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 really bring closure to Picard and to really give him this sort of true happy ending because he look Picard during this series when Picard during this series as a whole, including seasons 1 and 2, as much as I didn't like them, this series explored the psychological ins and outs of Jean-Luc Picard in ways that we've never seen before. So I thought that it would have been I thought that it would have been fitting to give him a true happy ending with Beverly and his son that turned out to be Jack. So so that was like my main complaint, and also I really didn't appreciate, although it made sense in that season 1 was about the Borg. Uh, 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 season 1 was Borg heavy. Season 2 focused on trauma, and the Borg were in there as well. And it makes sense why the Borg were uh, um, a key player in the final season's mystery uh, uh, for Picard season 3. But I really wish that Terry Matalas would have taken the overall mystery of Jack in another direction. A couple weeks ago, again, a fellow Star Trek friend of mine had this great theory of potentially tying Jack's visions into something from classic Trek into something from the original series, and his whole theory would have been amazing, and I would have loved it. But again, even though I was disappointed with the overall reveal of Jack's character, and the fact that I thought it took, and the fact that I thought it took Terry and the writers too long to sort of reveal that Jack was assimilated some point in his life, and vis-a-vis the entire Federation was assimilated uh, uh, at some point. I I thought that Terry could have revealed that much earlier, like around maybe episode 5 or 6, and then he could have taken the rest of episodes to focus on the relationship with Beverly and Picard, which I thought was tremendously overserved for the grand mystery of what's going on with Jack and what's happening to the Federation. I really thought bringing the Dominion back and having the shapeshifters and the Borg come together to try and defeat the Federation, that was very cool. And how the Borg wanted to evolve and change and become different. I thought that was an interesting avenue to take them down. For the most part, I loved this season. Some things I didn't really like at all. Like, uh, um, I I really didn't like the character who played Jack. I didn't feel any connection to him. I really didn't care about him except for the fact that he was Picard's son. I thought that they could have gotten a different actor. Then again, I would have preferred, Wesley Crusher to be in there somehow. That would have been cool. Like, if they found some way to reverse, you know, Wesley's Wesley's traveler thing, and Wesley was the one that was being affected by the Borg. That would have been really interesting. Although, if you had done that, you wouldn't have the connection between Beverly and Picard. But just because you don't have the connection between Beverly and Picard doesn't mean that you couldn't have explored them getting together finally at the end of the season, potentially getting married. That would have been really nice. But unfortunately, Terry and the writers of Picard didn't want to go down that route. Yeah, so look, ultimately, I loved some of the emotional beats, like between Deanna and Troy, towards the tail end of the season. I thought, I, I thought that some of the some of some of the moments that Terry and his writing staff gave those two in particular were great. Seven, seeing Seven in a Starfleet uniform was great. I didn't think that she would stick around at the end of the series. I thought she was gonna elect to leave, which she was. But after she heard the message from Shaw, who basically treated her like a dick the entire season, but then went out sort of like a good guy. I really like the fact that we basically got a new version of Data kicking around, a new version of Data that has both Data lore and B4 integrated into him, so he can experience emotions and he can age. Obviously, I really like that, because I did not like what they did with Data in season one of Picard. I really had a problem with that. So for me, it might have not been like this, but for me, it was sort of Terry Metalis going, I really didn't like that, and I'm going to do this. But with that being said, I did appreciate the way that Terry Metalis did tip his cap to those folks who may have liked what they did with Data in season one. I did not, again. So I really appreciated what they did with Data and Brent Spiner in this season, and the fact that we have Data back now again, and he's here and he's alive and he's the best version of Data that we've ever had. I really appreciated that. I I would have to say that probably that, and seeing the Picard crew go on the USS Enterprise again once when they went back to the ship museum. Those were my two favorite parts of the season. My my two favorite episodes of the season were that episode and the episode where Data overcomes lore and sort of integrates lore into his own programming. I really fucking loved that episode. I said on a live stream that I was on talking about that episode that that was my favorite episode of modern Star Trek ever, not counting Such Sweet Sorrow Part 1 and Part 2 from Discovery Season 2, because that's my favorite Discovery episode, other than the one where Saru becomes captain of the ship for the first time and Michael says, no, 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 no. It's your turn to finally sit in the chair. Other than that moment, um, uh, my favorite episode uh, of Star Trek Discovery is Such Sweet Sorrow Part 1 and 2. And so it's that episode that I can't remember. It's this episode of Picard where Data fights off lore and integrates lore into himself. That's my favorite episode of modern Star Trek ever, followed by Such Sweet Sorrow and a couple of smattering of other episodes as well that I will not mention right now because I'm not here to talk about Star Trek Discovery. I'm here to talk about Picard season 3 as a whole. Again, I had some issues, which I've already said, but ultimately, this final season of Picard really gave the TNG cast the ending that they deserved and the ending that they and the ending that they did not get in Star Trek Nemesis. And when I rewatch the TNG movies again, which I do a few times every year, when I get to the end of Nemesis, I will go directly into this season and and watch it again as a proper conclusion to my favorite Star Trek crew of all time. All right, guys. So I think that'll do it for this video. Listen, guys, if you like anything I do here on my YouTube channel, I would appreciate a comment, a like, or subscribe. But thank you so much for watching. In the comments below, if you have watched the most recent season of Picard, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. But until next time, as always, I'll see you when I see you.
So much happened here, and so much is about to.